I was in court for the Luigi Mangione suppression hearing, and I'm going to tell you about some shocking moments that happened this week so far. I'm going to play some videos that I took outside of court, and I'm going to give some updates on a couple of other cases as well, because we need to layer in some other stuff. Although I will admit, this week I am so consumed by Mangione. This won't be the case all the time, clearly, if you are new here. Welcome to Los Angeles Magazine. I'm Lauren Conlin, and this is your daily pop culture, scandal, and crime news podcast. Yes, so normally I give a variety of updates on different cases, but I have been in court this entire week, or basically, I guess the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, but all day, basically from 9 to 5, but earlier because it's Luigi Mangione. We have to get in line. It's a whole thing. It's kind of like Diddy. But yes. Oh, I'm also going to give some thoughts on the Diddy doc as well. But I should probably change the banner here, shouldn't I? You know what? We'll do it. We'll do it live. I'm feeling it today. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yes, Bill O'Reilly. That whole got it. We'll do it live. And Diddy doc. Even though it's really, I don't think he would want this to be called the Diddy doc. It's really the 50 Cent doc. But you know what? First, let's so I can sip my coffee, let's play part of my video. No, I'm just kidding. Part of my video at the end of the day from court yesterday, because I feel like I didn't give the defense enough attention. And just again, if you are not familiar, Luigi Mangione, basically a year ago this month, December 2024, he was arrested for the red rum of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And now his defense team is in court for his state case, because he has also been charged federally, to suppress some very key pieces of evidence, basically like everything that was found in the backpack. So yesterday, we heard from a witness, Officer Joseph Detweiler from the Altoona, Pennsylvania Police Department. He was on the stand all day. It was a long day, but it was interesting, I guess. We saw a lot of body cam footage that we had not seen before, ever. And in my opinion, some of the footage was a little bit conflicting with what Detweiler was saying. And I'll give you an example. He was there, he knows, but he was like, yes, the suspect, Mangione, was very, very nervous. His fingers were shaking when we asked him to stand up. But, we also see Luigi kind of leaning back in his chair, and he just starts to eat a hash brown, and then he eats his breakfast sandwich. And I just feel like, I don't know, when I'm nervous, I can't eat, but that's just me. And I feel like if I took a poll out there, if somebody's super nervous, they're not going to casually pick up their McDonald's and eat. But that's just me. And that's just like, that's one of, many things. But essentially, when the state directly questioned him, they basically just wanted to show that these officers followed Pennsylvania law and when it comes to search and seizure. So basically, we went through a timeline of the officers getting dispatched, to them arriving, to them identifying Luigi Mangione as the potential New York shooting suspect, and then the arrest. And then after the arrest, they made sure to tell us, the arrest was at 9:57, and then they searched him at 10 a.m. So in Pennsylvania, you are allowed to search, or law enforcement is allowed to search somebody who has been detained or arrested. In New York, we love criminals here. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's a little bit stricter. You have to get a search warrant. So, in the direct examination, and I'll play part of, or I'm sorry, the cross-examination, I'll play part of the video from yesterday that I made. But you can sort of hear Karen Agnifilo, Luigi's attorney. You can sort of hear a section where an officer is saying, right after Luigi gets arrested, should we get a warrant, or do we need a warrant? And she made sure to play that. I thought that was very good, very smart of her, because again, they're arguing this search was unlawful. And she also made a point to be like, well, weren't you on the phone with NYPD? Were you on the phone with the FBI? Basically saying that this was already like a New York investigation, a federal investigation. Therefore, the search, shouldn't be lawful. The charges that he's facing are based on forgery, unlawful possession of a weapon in Pennsylvania. And the state was like, these are the charges. That's it. Strictly Pennsylvania. And I also, again, Karen Agnifilo, she's sharp. She's good. I mean, she kind of dug in with like little things too. I mean, he's eating McDonald's, right? And his wrappers are all over the table. And we see a section of body cam footage where an officer is just throwing everything away. And she's asking Detweiler on the stand, well, didn't you guys think to keep the wrappers for evidentiary purposes? And this guy's a 14-year patrolman. And he's like, oh, he actually said verbatim, because I was live tweeting, and I'll show you guys. He's like, I didn't even think of that. I was like, huh? You didn't even think of that? Okay. I mean, I don't know. Altoona, Pennsylvania sounds like a wild place. He also talked about, and this is not super important, but he talked about how when he first got the call, his lieutenant was like, yo, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And he's like, yo, if you take down the CEO shooter, or you get the CEO shooter, I'll buy you a hoagie. Buy you a hoagie? Okay. A promotion would be cool too. I mean, whatever. All right, let me pull up my Twitter. I'll play part of the video from yesterday. Oh, cool. Watch again. I guess it was playing this entire time. All right. Tomorrow's video will be a little bit longer, but sorry. Okay. Longer, but just a quick rundown of the afternoon, which was mainly the cross-examination of Officer Joseph Detweiler, the first officer on the scene at the McDonald's where Luigi Mangione was apprehended. What Karen Agnifilo kept pointing out when we were rewatching the body cam footage from the morning, and all these clips had already been entered into evidence, but she kept pointing out just small things like, oh, is that a customer walking to the bathroom? Oh, is that another female that appears to be leaving? And this was all, yeah, hold on. I want to stop for a second. They were questioning Luigi Mangione. That was a big thing for her as well. I'm glad I played this. I probably don't need to play the whole thing, but that was important. Karen Agnifilo kept pointing out on the footage, he kept saying, I feared for my safety. I knew that, Luigi Mangione hadn't been caught yet, or he said the suspect hadn't been caught yet, and they hadn't retrieved a weapon or recovered a weapon. So she's like, okay, so you thought, people's lives were basically in danger, but you don't secure the perimeter because it shows customers, walking by, going to the bathroom, leaving. And she made sure to point all that out. She also made sure to point out, basically that his backpack, the one they searched, she said it was kind of far from Luigi. I think she said it was something like 10 feet. And she also said, you're so scared, but like you didn't move the backpack, right? Until, 20 minutes into your interrogation or questioning of him. She also got him to say that he kind of fibbed and telling Luigi just to keep him calm, that he was responding as a police officer to a loitering call, that, you can't sit at McDonald's for longer than XYZ, and this is what happens. She kind of made sure to say, okay, so that was not true. You just said that wasn't true, blah, blah, blah. And then she kind of said, there was a point when they walked in, she said, you and your fellow officer stood on either side of Mr. Mangione. And she said, was that strategic? And he's like, what? No, we just stood there. He was very sarcastic in this moment. He's like, we just stood there. And she goes, but it was strategic placement. And he goes, and I swear, he goes, well, we had to stand somewhere. What'd you want us to do? Like stand in front of him holding hands? I was like, that's not really what she's asking. And listen, I get it. If a defense attorney is being, snippy with you, she wasn't being snippy. That's the funny thing. He just kind of, it was, yeah. And so probably 45 minutes later into her questioning, we get to a part within the body cam footage where she points out that he's yelling, this is Detweiler, McCoy, McCoy, McCoy. That's the fellow officer. She's yelling for him to come stand in his spot next to Mangione so he can walk outside. And she said, so why did you want him to come replace you standing next to Mr. Mangione? And he's like, because I was going to go outside and see my lieutenant. And she's like, right, because it was strategic. You wanted to block him from leaving. He kind of stumbled over his words. He was interesting. I mean, at one point, Karen, she got, I don't want to say admonished, but there was an objection because she made a side comment, and the judge is like, I think counsel knows better now about the side comments. And she's like, I'm sorry, Your Honor, or whatever. And then she looks at the witness and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if, if anything's unclear, just, I'll repeat myself. And he literally looks at her and he's like, you're doing great. It was just so condescending and weird. There is also a moment where an officer on the body cam was whistling loudly to Jingle Bell Rock, but it was literally on the body. Oh, sorry. My banner's on for 10 seconds. Who did that? But it was on the body cam footage. So how do I whatever. I'm like, I'm having problems today. But yeah, so the whistling's on the body cam footage, and all of a sudden a court officer is like, quiet, order, like in the gallery. And I was like, okay, this is a very unserious moment. But anyway, we will be back in court Thursday, so tomorrow. But really quick, I want to just say the MLB pitch rating scandal, which I've spoken about, they actually are going to trial Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz from the Cleveland Guardians in May of 2026. That is soon. I was like, wow, this is great. So I hope I can cover that trial. I'm very anxious for that. These guys, they possibly ruin their lives. I got to watch 2 episodes. I was up so late last night of the Diddy doc, The Reckoning on Netflix. Oh boy, he's not going to like this. And I'm still a little confused at how Netflix was able to take his footage and do a doc with 50 Cent, his biggest enemy. I mean, that's crazy to me. I personally would not, right? I would not be happy with that. Who would? Listen, he's in prison. So if this is how, okay, let me just say this. I feel like the goal of this doc was for them to say, like, you guys should be glad he's in prison. He's such a shit person or bad person. Just watch it. I mean, you'll see. They don't do a great job of humanizing him. I'll tell you that much. Not at all. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. I won't do Mangione tomorrow because I'm going to pre-record the podcast to load it up to drop at midnight. So I think I'll do a rundown on maybe Celeste and David, if anything pops up today. And then I'll go back to Mangione maybe on Friday just to sort of give another recap. But anyway, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't already. I'm Lauren Conlin from LA Magazine. Thanks for watching.